Welcome back to Heresy in 40k, and welcome back to the book review series, Name Pending, from the pages of the Black Library, working title. Shorten it a bit. But we're not here to talk about my indecisive nature when it comes to naming things. We are here to talk about the book we are reviewing, or I am reviewing today, which is Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion by Dale Lucas. Now, I don't know a lot about AOS, like lore-wise and novel-wise. I'm more average when it comes to 40k and to Horus Heresy. AOS is the one I want to explore and expand more on. So I've read one AOS book so far, which was Scaventide, because I got it when I got into AOS with the Scaventide box set. So I decided, okay, I'll get that book as well, and having finished it, I was like, oh, okay, it's alright. I like it. It's alright. I decided, okay, what's the next one I want to get into? What interests me the most? And then I saw the Ushoran book, and I thought I'll give this a try because of the Death army or faction. Flesh Eater Courts is the one I'm least interested in, like aesthetic wise. For me, it goes Osirach Bone Reapers, Night Haunts, Soulblight Grave Lords, then Flesh Eater Courts. Because to me, like seeing their minis, it's like most of it's just kind of ghouls, like vampires for some parts, but mainly ghouls. But Ushoran's mini is fantastic. Looks bloody amazing. If I had to get a mini from Flesh Eater Courts, it's definitely Ushoran's mini in quotations. But no, I decided, okay, I'll get his book, because, okay, this could be interesting. I could learn a bit more about Flesh Eater Courts. So I got the special edition, limited edition cover. Poor misguided soul, you can die for nothing or live for vengeance in my name. So, what is Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion, about? So we follow two characters. The first one being obviously Ushoran, the Mortarch of Delusion of the Flesh Eater Courts. He has returned to his lands, and he's on a grand tour visiting all the different courts, and he arrives at the last one of his oldest friends to find that the whole of the court there, including his friend, have been killed. And he is greatly upset about this. And it's very interesting how Ushoran acts. And I'll talk about this a bit more in comparison to the other character, who is Kosimir. I had the name here earlier. It's in the first chapter, I believe. Yes, Kosimir Vornarov of Ramrock. I possibly butchered all of that. I do apologize. He is the master patriarch of his people, and he is not having the best time ruling his people, because Kosimir, as we learn throughout this book, he has spent his entire life trying to prove otherwise, that he could be master patriarch. The rest of his older siblings all died to the Flesh Eater Court plagues, or various other instances, but I think a lot of them, if I recall, were because of the Flesh Eater Courts. There's a bit of a not really a rivalry, but it's a force that they were constantly fighting. So they just had this big win against Ushoran's old buddy. Oops, Ushoran's not happy about that, remember? So Kosimir spent his entire life trying to prove that he could be master patriarch. He achieves it. He gets this big victory against the Flesh Eater Courts. He believes, okay, we've done it. They're gone from this land. We can live a great peaceful life. But the first thing I need to do is get rid of my doubters, and the people that I have learned are trying to get me off the throne, so to speak. So that's what he does. And as the story progresses, we see with Cosmere that a lot of his decisions are not really for the benefit of his people, compared to like Ushoran throughout the book, where it's like, yeah, he's a giant monster, a flesh-eating monster, but he's like this very like noble, loving king, which I found like very interesting, because you see like, never judge a book by its cover, but you see Ushoran here, and this big hulking vampire like ghoul, bones coming out of his head that is his crown. He's like giving blood to people to turn them into members of the flesh eater courts, feasting on flesh, and you think, this thing's not noble. But I was surprised by how he treats everyone. It treats all of his servants. Like, when he's at, like, in the prologue here for, like, the King's Feast, they are, oh, not the prologue, it's, interlude. So, Ushoran's story, takes part during, like, interludes, while Cosmere's stories is during like the standard chapters, to like parallel the two or contrast the two main characters. So like it says here, two young courtiers approached, carrying in their arms a wooden slab of meat slathered with some sweet smelling dressing and sprinkled with herbs. "Sire," one of the women said, bowing before Ushoran, "we beg the honor of selecting for you the finest of our father's cuts as a token of our appreciation for your return to us at last. We beg you, accept our humble offerings." Fangborn felt himself smile with solemn pride. Ushoran leant forward and took the slab of the magnanimous bow of his giant head. He shoved every morsel into his mouth at once, gnashing his teeth together in relish. As he pulverized the offerings, he stole a glance at the courtiers who provided them. Already they shrank back towards their fellow revelers, whispering delightfully to one another. It pleased Fangborn, knowing that they would cherish the tale amongst themselves until their dying day. How they had once been in Ushoran's presence in his home, offered him bounty from his lands that their king accepted without hesitation. "You bless them, sire," Count Fangborn said. "They bless me," Ushoran replied. "I count myself fortunate that such fine nobles support my cause." Yeah, it's just so interesting to see Ushoran be this great, like, loving, noble, king-like figure to his people, and especially like later on when they're attacking one of Cosamir's like forces, who also have like a couple of two Stormcast Eternals with them, because these Stormcasts assisted in taking back the lands, and then left two of them with them and said, "Okay, we'll come back in like this amount of time just to see how everything's going and to help reinforce everything." So there's still two Stormcast Eternals with them. So Ushoran and the kind of like his new army of Flesh Eater Courts attack, and like during the battle, he kills both Stormcasts and then gets injured by their resurrection bolts, because they're going to get resurrected later by Sigma, and he's just like, "Damn, that hurt. I'm gonna just go sit back for a while and just chill, just relax for a bit." Then he's like, "I'm pretty hungry, actually, and those knights over there look pretty tasty. But it's only fair that my people should replenish their thirst, replenish their hunger. They should eat before me, so I'll get to it later. It's fine." Whereas, like, to counter with that, with Cosmere around this point in the story, he's closed off his entire, like, I think it was like town, city, because of he's heard about the supposed like return of the Flesh Eater Courts, possibility of like, if anyone's coming in here, they could possibly be tainted by plague, by the Flesh Eater Court plague. They could kill us all. So do not let anyone in. If you let anyone in, kill them, and then I'm going to get you killed as well for disobeying me. And it's like, we need to survive until the Stormcast Eternals return. So everyone is on rations, and all this time he has hidden away this huge larder of like magnificent, like delicious food all to himself. And he's doing all these things, and he's saying, "Oh, this is for the betterment of the people," and especially to me, because what happens to me if I die? Who's gonna lead my people? I'm very important. Whereas like with Ushoran, it's like, yeah, he's important, but it's like the people are a bit more important. So they can feast first. I'll feast last. It's more important that they get stronger because they need it. And it's just only fair because they're the ones doing the brunt of the work. So the contrast between the two of Ushoran and Cosmere, I just found very interesting, very intriguing. And the book is called Mortarch of Delusion, and I thought, what does this mean? Like, how is he the Mortarch of Delusion? I don't see what is delusional about Ushoran. So I had to look about, I'm going to look up about the Flesh Eater Courts. And that's when I found out they're mad. They're inflicted with madness. So they're like ripping into people, eating their flesh. They're cannibals. They're these ghoulish looking monsters. But they think they're nobles. Like that's the like cliff notes of it, I could say, is like, They think they're these like great nobles that they're protecting their lands from like the real monsters. So it's like, oh, I could see why like Ushoran is this kind of like amazing like noble guy, is because he thinks he is, and the thing is they all think they are. So it's like, oh, I can see how that's the delusion of the Flesh Eater Court. But that delusion also works for Cosmere as well. He's delusional in thinking that he is making the right choices to prolong his people, to prolong Rime Rock, to survive against the Flesh Eater Courts. And even when he has his like council and like other people that he somewhat trusts telling him like otherwise, it's like no, this is like you're killing people. You're not there's survivors out there that are looking for safe passage because they see safety here, safety with you in the city of the king, the city of the king, and you're denying it. And he's like, well, they could be tainted. I'm doing this for the benefit of the people here. So quite delusional in his thing, because a lot of the people that are trying to get into this city, if I'm remembering correctly, there's nothing there that suggests that all of them are tainted. There were a couple that were, but like even one was like, I think like one of them was like part of like a church or something, and just like, hey, I said I'm not letting anyone in. You've done me a great service, whatever, helping me, but I said I'm not letting anyone in. So I don't know, go back to the safety of your church, even though they weren't tainted. There was nothing about them that was tainted. Whereas like with some, it's like, yeah, that lends credence to Cosmere saying that like, well, we can't let them in. They could be tainted because there were tainted ones, but not all of them were. And then they kind of somewhat dealt with them, but it didn't work out in the end. But no, overall, like, yeah, Cosmere being delusional in his reign as like Master Patriarch, thinking that he is doing the right things, even though he's being very selfish about it, compared to Ushoran, who is doing the right things. He's believing he's doing the right things, but he kind of actually is for his people. I really liked, like, Ushoran as a character is now with that added little bonus of finding out, like, oh, the Flesh Eater Courts think they're all mad. They all think like this. It's made like Ushoran a more like intriguing character to me, and I like the contrast between him and Cosimir. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I think it was fantastic. I loved reading this book. This one as well as the Forgrim one, were ones where like, damn, I have like other things to do, and sometimes if I'm like at work and I like only have a short break, but it's like, I really want to continue reading this. I really want to see where it goes. I'm really like enthralled with this story. So Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion, had to rate it, I would give it a 5 out of 5. Absolutely fantastic. I definitely want to read a bit more for Death overall, especially with the Flesh Eater Courts, especially about Ushoran. Yeah, so if there's any other AOS books that you'd recommend to me, go ahead. I'm open to any suggestion. I love to read as well as painting minis. I love to read more of the lore and stories of like Warhammer, like 40k, Heresy, AOS. So I'm definitely open to reading some more. I'm going on a trip soon. I'm taking a bunch of books with me. I have a couple of omnibuses with me I'm going to be taking with me to read, so I'm definitely not struggling with the stuff to entertain me while I'm away. But yeah, that is it for Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion review. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, or if you're delusional, you're going to do that anyway because you think it's the right thing to do. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? And if you've read Ushoran, Mortarch of Delusion, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hope to see you all in the next one. Gotcha.